Alrighty. 40,000. This channel, as of recording this video, is at nearly 40,000 subscribers and might pass that by the time it's uploaded, which is insane. And to celebrate this milestone, I posted a Q&A on my community tab where you could ask me anything you wanted. Now, what's funny is that when I originally had this idea, it was right before I made my comfort games video, and it was for 10,000 subscribers. And then when I posted the Q&A, it was for 25,000 subscribers, and now we're at almost double that. Insane. And all of you did deliver on that Q&A with a ton of interesting questions. Like a ton of them. There was over 100 comments on that post, which is way more than I ever expected to get, but I took all of them, compiled them, took out any duplicates, and I'll be answering all of your questions right here. I'll also be talking at the end of this video about the future of my channel and what I want to do going forward, so stick around for that. And let's get into the questions. I feel like this video might be pretty long, but we'll see. How long have you been making videos? So I've actually been doing YouTube for like 7 years, if you consider when I first started, because I first started in 2015. It was actually when I made my first channel, and then it was like a Let's Play channel that I created. I really wanted to be a Let's Player at that time because I was like in high school and thought that would be really cool. So I started a Let's Play channel, did it for like a year, didn't like my username was the thing that eventually made me delete my channel. And then I thought on a new username, came up with Lextorias, and continued to do Let's Plays on this channel right now for like 3 years until 2019. And then I deleted all of those when I went to university and I sort of gave up doing YouTube for a while. And then it was at the end of 2020 when I started uploading to this channel again. And from there, yeah, I've just been doing the videos that I now normally do. I love your voice and the topics you talk about, so I'm sad I found this channel now with only a handful of videos. Having gone through all of them, I heard you mentioning other videos you've made but can't find them. Where are these videos and why did you decide to private/unlist/delete them? Yeah, so as you can suspect from me saying that I've been doing YouTube since like 2015, 2016, but only having videos starting, I believe, 2021, I deleted almost all of them. Pretty much all the ones before 2019 that I did as a Let's Player, I just gave up on entirely and deleted like everything on my channel when I just decided to have this YouTube account still, but I didn't want to be a YouTuber anymore. And that was all of my Let's Play videos that I did. So I just deleted all those, wiped them off the face of the earth. I don't have any records of them anymore. And then my first, I want to say 5, 6 videos that I did on this channel that are like the Lextorias, like kind of video essay videos I've done. Those I started off doing like anime videos and I did movie reviews again, end of 2020 going into 2021, and just, I don't know, I don't like those videos. They're older. I recorded the first of them like in my dorm room in university, and they just come across really cringy and quiet. I remember that was a big thing, was that I was very quiet because I didn't want to like wake up my roommate while I was recording. And I just didn't really like them, didn't feel they were like up to a standard of quality that I wanted to do. So eventually I just deleted them all, starting at the Cowboy Bebop video. That was like the first video that ever blew up on my channel. It got like 4,000 views at the time, I want to say. So that was the video I was kind of like proud of. So I'm like, okay, this can be my first video. I'll just get rid of all the ones before that because I did a whole bunch of them and I didn't really feel like proud of them or that they fit with my channel. And yeah, so the Cowboy Bebop video will probably be the first video on my channel like going forward. That's just what I'll refer to as my first video. But I did have some before that that I just didn't feel proud of. I was still like figuring out even how to talk to a camera really. So that's why I decided to delete all of them. What/who inspired you to make video essays? And so I've gotten this question a lot, actually. Even in the Q&A, I got like probably over 5 questions all asking, who inspired you? Who do you watch the most? What's your favorite YouTuber that you decided to like make content after? So I'll put all of those up here probably just so I don't miss any of the questions that I got. But as to actually answer who inspired me, I would say my biggest inspiration is probably Nakey Jakey, which is sort of a very general answer you'll get across YouTube. I found there's a bunch of YouTubers that even I follow who all say that they were inspired by Naked Jakey. He's just like, he kind of changed doing video essays, especially in front of a green screen, which is what I now do. And yeah, I just saw his videos, fell in love with them, thought like, hey, I kind of want to do stuff like that. Like that's what I want to do for video essays. That's a really cool format to use. And there was a bunch of other YouTubers who all claim Naked Jakey in some form as a source of inspiration. So all of that sort of combined just made me think like, hey, I kind of want to do the green screen stuff, even way back when. As for any other inspirations just in general for YouTube, I can tell you, again, going back to how I started my channel wanting to be a Let's Player, my first ever inspiration for any of that was actually Game Grumps, because I watched a lot of Game Grumps. I think I've seen every single JonTron era Game Grumps video like the day it came out. I was obsessed with them. I was literally subscribed to Game Grumps, I think before they posted their first video, because I remember Egoraptor posting his like announcement video on creating Game Grumps back when I was subscribed to him. And so I saw like literally every one of their videos when they came out, and they inspired me to like do YouTube in general. But obviously I don't do Let's Plays anymore, so they're not really an inspiration for me right now. And I haven't even seen any of their videos in a while. I stopped subscribing to them a while ago, but they definitely are what made me start doing YouTube. And then any others, obviously I have to credit Joseph Anderson for being the inspiration for my Elden Ring video, because I saw he did long form videos that I thought were really cool. And then it was at the time I was playing Elden Ring that I just looked like for any long form critique video of Elden Ring that anyone had made, and saw that nobody had made any of them when I was like playing the game. So I was going like, hey, I really like Joseph Anderson. I really like Elden Ring. Nobody's made a video like this. I'm just gonna make a Joseph Anderson style Elden Ring critique that's like an hour long and goes over everything I thought of the game. And then that video blew up, probably because, again, no one had made a long form video critique when I put that video up. So I really have to thank Joseph Anderson for basically giving me the inspiration to make my first like big video that got me to like 5,000 subscribers. So that's sort of the credit for that, though. There's a bunch of channels that I am subscribed to that I take some form of inspiration from. You can see all of my subscriptions are public, I think, on my channel. So you can just go to like, I think it's called the channels tab. You can go to one of the tabs on my channel and see like everyone I'm subscribed to. And I can guarantee you I've taken like bits and pieces from like over 100 YouTubers at this point. Why did you start being a content creator, and how long was that idea in your mind before you actually tried? I'd like to know, because a lot of friends and even strangers told me to start doing videos and streams because I come off as an entertainer, but I never really tried or thought about it. Yeah, so I think for me personally, the creative challenge of it was always the part that I most look forward to. Even back when I wanted to do Let's Plays, I looked at stuff like Game Grumps or other YouTubers, PewDiePie, and like the sort of one-man YouTube channel type channels. And I thought, okay, I can edit a video, I can do a thumbnail, I can create a script, like all of these different creative elements all seemed really fun to me. And even to this day are really fun to me, which is why I now do them. And just doing that was sort of an interesting creative outlet, because I'm someone who, I basically have a compulsive need to create at all times. I constantly am doing art or writing or any number of things that can like get creativity out into the world. And YouTube was just the ultimate form of that for me. It's just everything combined when you're talking about like creative outlets. Like I can write, I can do art with thumbnails, I can do all of these different things, I can edit video, and all of it is fun to me. And that's why I wanted to do it for like so long, even back to probably like when I was 12. And then I started my channel in 2015 when I was 15. So it was several years of like really wanting to do it for pretty much my whole like teenage life. So yeah, I would say anyone looking to do YouTube, if all of that creative challenge seems fun to you, absolutely do it, because it's so rewarding to do. Even when I had 10 subscribers and I made videos, just putting a video out there feels so like rewarding to me. Even if no one watched it and I didn't get any comments, it was like I made this thing essentially from scratch and just put it out into the world. And that's the part that I really enjoy. And I would say if all of that seems fun to you, if all that seems like something that you would also cling to, do it. If not, don't feel pressured to do it just because it is a popular career path, right? Like, it's amazing for me. I love it. It's what I want to do for the foreseeable future, but that's like a very specific circumstance where I like every single part of the job, the job. And if you don't like all of that, you don't have to. There's a bunch of other options that are probably way easier and more stable than starting a YouTube channel and like trying to grow one into a career. How long have you been making videos, and when did you start to take it seriously? So I've already So again, I talked about how I started in 2015. As for when I took it seriously, probably my Cowboy Bebop video is where I started to like actually ramp up the quality or like try to improve things, because that video got a couple thousand views and really showed me that like, hey, I can do these and get successful and people can leave positive comments. And I would like more of that. I would like more people to see my videos. So I started to really like amp up then and do YouTube more. And then specifically leading into my Elden Ring video, I think I had like a period right before it where I got depressed or like unmotivated to make videos and I stopped uploading for a while. And then Elden Ring came out. I had the idea to make an Elden Ring video, and that video blew up and paid my rent with how successful it was and single-handedly got me into the partner program and everything. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna do YouTube now. I'm gonna like focus my efforts on it, try and see where it takes me. Which is insane because it's taken me to 40,000 subscribers, which, to be honest, even making that Elden Ring video, I'm like, all right, my goal is 10,000 by the end of the year. And if I do that, that's a great amount of growth. And yeah, now we're here. Question: how do you come up with video ideas? So most of my video ideas either start as a title, like my horror games video started off as me literally just thinking, why do horror games stop being scary? Because I don't know if I had read something about Dead Space 3 or like the new Callisto Protocol, like something related to that. And I just thought back on like, yeah, why do the games get less scary as they go on? And then I'm like, oh yeah, that happens in Resident Evil too, where they just get less scary as they go on. And then I thought, why do horror games stop being scary? And then that was a really good video idea. So I just did all of my research sort of around that singular concept that was the title. And then another sort of idea I'll have is just on a singular topic that I'm really interested in, that I really want to just cover a specific, like, narrow view of something. So for example, my fan service video started off as I had seen Fire Force, thought the fan service with Tamaki was like kind of weird. And then I was going to do a video on just fan service in Fire Force. And then I started researching just the history of fan service to kind of add context to the video. Found that the history was like super cool and interesting, researched all the shows involved with that, and sort of built the video around that. But it started off as just, I had seen one show with fan service in it and thought it wasn't good and wanted to sort of like expand on that idea. So that's sort of just my most common one. A huge thing for me has been having a notes app in my phone that I can just write 1,000 video titles into, or like anything that pops into my head for like a very specific, like, oh, I could make a whole video on that, is immediately written down and hopefully used later. What's your process for researching topics and writing scripts for videos? So research specifically for me usually starts on Wikipedia. I'm probably a college professor's worst nightmare. I pretty much, as soon as I have an idea for like fan service, I go on the Wikipedia page for fan service and just find every relatable topic that I can and go, okay, they mentioned this show in like the history section of fan service, so I'm gonna go to that show's Wikipedia page, look up everything to do with that. And then it starts on Wikipedia and just, I find as much like encompassing related information as I can from that. And then from there, I actually do my own research and start searching up specific topics and terms and like the specific games or anime or anything that I'm looking for, and just seeing what people have to say about them, or if there's any other information that would be like interesting for a video. So again, going back to the horror games video, I didn't even cover the like developer side at all until while researching Dead Space 3, I thought of like, oh yeah, I remember that this game had horrible developer issues or something like that. So I looked into it and saw, oh, okay, so these are like the specific developer issues that happened. And then I was just looking at another one of the games I covered. I think it was like Alone in the Dark or one of them. And I saw that, oh, they had the same developer issue. Like, that's a really weird coincidence. And then I started looking into every game that I talked about in the video, and all of them had that same developer issue. And I'm like, okay, that's amazing. That makes for like a perfect wraparound for the video, and something that I had never heard before. So I assume that an audience would want to listen to when like talking about it in a video. So it's just this general spider web of like, all right, here's an idea, look at everything related to that and keep going out until I can find some path that's all connected and interesting to talk about in a video. As for writing scripts, usually what happens is I just take every single thing I've thought of, whether it's an idea I've had or just like, sometimes I'll just come up with a joke that's like completely random and separated from what I'm talking about in the video. Just anything, and I'll just write it down in a giant Google Docs document, along with everything I've researched, anything that's interesting, I'm copy pasting and putting into that document. And then I just have like 1,000 notes, and then I organize them into some sort of structure where it's like, okay, this joke can lead into this topic that I'm talking about, can lead into this thing. And then once there's like a loose structure where I can go like, all right, this video has a beginning, middle, and end, then I actually go in and write the whole thing from beginning to end, like actually wording out everything that I'm going to say and segueing from topic to topic. But it all just starts out as a giant collection of notes that is probably way too long. How did you learn to edit, and what software do you use? So software, specifically, I use anything Adobe. Basically, my entire production is done in Adobe products. I use Premiere Pro to edit my videos. I use Photoshop to make my thumbnails. I use Adobe Audition to edit my audio so it sounds nice. I don't really use After Effects because I'm lazy and don't want to have to learn how to use After Effects because it's really complicated. But everything I do in Adobe. As for how I learned to edit, I started editing Let's Plays. I started I think it was Game Grumps, specifically Barry, their old editor, had a video on their second channel or somewhere that was like an hour-long editing tutorial where he just goes through how to edit like a Game Grumps episode. And I remember watching that beginning to end and like learning all of the basics of like cutting and splicing and like shifting stuff from that video specifically. And since then, there's probably been dozens of other like tutorials. I myself would like to make an editing tutorial at one point if I ever have time, or like, I don't know, I just want to make like how I make YouTube videos. Like I just want to post that out into the world so people have that as information because it's kind of hard to find. If you ever want to learn how to edit a YouTube video, just look up tutorials on like how to edit stuff. Get the basics down. And then for me, a lot of it was like, oh, I've seen a YouTube video. It has a really cool edit. Like they put text on screen. Look into how to put text on screen and then do that in my next video. And then just take one edit at a time or like one concept at a time and add them into my videos until eventually I can have this like sort of dynamically edited video that seems like it has high production value, even though I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of like making it up as I go along. I'm all self-taught and just basically learn stuff from other YouTubers that I like and like take bits and pieces from them. So that's how I learned, and I'd say it's working out so far, hopefully. Hopefully my videos are pretty well edited. As someone who also dabbles in YouTube video creation, I'm super curious in the behind the scenes. What's your process like? So that's a big question. So I'll probably just go over like bullet points on how I do it. But generally the process is come up with an idea, could be on literally anything, just the dumbest, whatever idea, 2 words like comfort games, fan service, like whatever, I just come up with it, take as many notes as possible on that idea and like everything I have to say about it, expand on those notes and take even more notes, research the things I'm talking about, take even more notes on that, compile that all, write it into like a full script, record it like how I'm doing now, just sitting in front of my couch in a green screen, pop that into Premiere Pro to edit it, Adobe Audition to do all of my editing stuff. And then usually at some point from writing the video to like finishing editing the video, I've thought of what I want the title and thumbnail to be, because that's pretty important for YouTube. So I'll think of like a bunch of different titles and then write them all down and kind of like try to look at which one might be the best for someone to click on or like most interesting to look at. Same with thumbnails. I'll just come up with like different ideas for a thumbnail and kind of roughly make them in Photoshop. And then whatever the best one is just becomes the thumbnail. And then videos uploaded, thumbnails done, titles done, videos done. That's my process. I love the way you and other similar creators analyze and critique your subject matter, whatever it may be. What is your process for that? Is it a talent or a practice skill? And how do you think someone could get better at it? So specifically for like analysis or more video essay-ish type videos where it's like, why do horror games stop being scary? I don't like open world games. Here's why. And like you're trying to think critically of something. My process has always been thinking of what I want to say. So for example, I don't like this game. And that's what I want to talk about, is like why I don't like this game. And then thinking, why don't I like it? Because it's not just I don't like it because it exists. I have to have a reason. So I try to like think of all of the reasons I could possibly have for whatever it is I'm doing, because I'm thinking of like just expanding on what I'm talking about. It's basically the Socratic method, if you've ever heard of that, which if you don't know is just basically asking why over and over again, like you're a 5-year-old. But specifically, it's just why. I don't like this game. Why? Write that down. I don't like this game because of this reason. Why? Expand further on that and just keep going until you have nothing left to ask. And then as soon as it's like, I fully asked every question I could about what I have to say, that's when I think it's ready to like go into a video. And that's usually when it becomes sort of the critical analysis that I'm trying to think of. And that's just how I approach every video I make, and usually is what ends up making the most of my videos. Like whenever I'm saying like, here's my opinion on the thing, usually at the end of the video, I've started with just my opinion essentially, and then just expanded on it until I have nothing left to say on it. And that's sort of how I can come up with sort of a more critical analysis of things. Mostly it's just practice, I think. I've gotten better at coming up with those questions of why as I've gone on, because that is the important part, is like actually thinking of the question of why and then being able to expand on it. Literally all you have to do is just look at something you think about and have like a very strong opinion of, and then just ask yourself why you have it and trying to like examine that further. When do you think you'll start collaborating with other creators? I don't know if I ever will. I don't know if my style of video like lends itself well to collaboration. Even if there's YouTubers that I love and look up to, I don't have any clue how I would like incorporate them into a video. I guess my couch can fit more than one person on it. It's just because I have the couch, I'm not going to fill it with people. I think that would be a bad idea for what types of videos I make. I'm probably going to be the only one sitting on this couch. How did you feel when the fan service video exploded? And I'll follow this up with a second question. What goes on in your head in regards to how fast your channel has blown up? Every day when I'm watching one of your videos, your subscriber and view count keeps skyrocketing. And to me, it's amazing to see. I'd like to see what it's like from the creator's point of view. So basically just what it's like to have a video go viral or like my channel blow up. Which first of all, I have to say it's amazing. I feel great to have just the sheer amount of like positive comments thrown at me and like all the likes and views on the video. People even following me on like Twitter, and my second channel that I have nothing on is like just people following me everywhere, sending me messages on Twitter, telling me they like my videos. All of that has been amazing. It's been surreal for the most part, just because, I don't know, you see, especially as someone, I've watched YouTube my entire life, and I've kind of had an idea of what a YouTuber is and sort of how growth on YouTube looks like, because I've seen channels blow up, and then actually having it happen to me it feels different somehow. I don't know how to describe it. Like you see the subscriber count go up to 40,000, and you just kind of look at that and go like, yeah, that's cool. But like, I don't know if it's hit me yet that I have that many subscribers or like people are actually watching my videos. Certainly seeing 800,000 views on a video I've made that like my face is in and it's me doing jokes and people are laughing at them feels absurd. It feels so strange. I don't know. Maybe that makes me a crazy person, but that's just kind of how I feel on how my channel has blown up. It does not feel real, but it also feels like probably one of the best things that's happened to me. Do you feel after you have huge success on certain topics that you need to focus your channel more on those topics? Or do you feel like you're still experimenting with what you want to do? So I think there is definitely a pressure to like make more of the same video. Specifically after my Elden Ring video, I even put a poll on my channel, which you can still see, it's still up, asking like, hey, I have a bunch of new subscribers now. What do you guys want to see? And the overwhelming majority of answers on that video was like more Elden Ring type critiques. And so it's just the natural like course of one video blowing up my channel has been everyone just kind of wants to see more of that one video because that's why they subscribed. So there has been a sort of pressure on me to do that more. And specifically with the Elden Ring video, that was a one-off. That was like, I just want to make a video in the style of a YouTuber I really like, and it happened to really work out. Probably not going to make a video like that again. And I even made my open world games video immediately after it as sort of like a follow-up of like, here's what I actually want to do. Here's like the actual style I want my videos to have. And that video got to 60,000 views when I had uploaded that afterwards. So it had definitely proven to me that, okay, maybe my style can be successful, even if it's not as successful as the Elden Ring video, and sort of gave me the confidence to just kind of do whatever I wanted. And then doing the fan service video and having that blow up, it's like, okay, I've sort of established my style at this point. I'm obviously still figuring out specifics, like the couch is new and all of that, but the actual like video structure itself is what I've been doing so far. So to actually see that blow up was way more rewarding, because it's like I can just kind of keep doing what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is already covering video games and now going back to anime and talking about it. So like blowing up with the fan service video is like, oh, this is what I've been doing all along. I can just keep doing this. So I am still experimenting with specifics, you know, couch and everything like that. Everything I've sort of been like structuring my videos around. But in terms of have I felt like I wanted to chase what made me famous, I've already been doing that. I've already been doing essentially what made my most popular video popular. So I just want to keep doing that, and hopefully that'll work out. Like that should be what everyone wants to see from me. So yeah, that's just kind of how I've been thinking about that success for my biggest video. As your channel grows, do you feel more obligated to create more high quality videos, trying to one up your previous videos? So that specifically, I would take as a different question, mainly in that while I am going to still make the same type of videos I've always been making, I've sort of figured out my style at this point and like what I want to do. In terms of quality, every video of mine, I am looking to improve. Like every single video, when I'm done and dusted, uploaded the video, looking at comments, I'm thinking of how could I improve it? How could I improve the audio of the video? How could I improve the editing? Okay, maybe this joke didn't work, or like the script could be a little tighter, or like just little specifics that I can improve on. And I think that that's been important to my growth as a creator thus far. I think that's an important thing that every YouTube creator should look at, is just what worked about the last video, what didn't work about it, how can I change it to make it better? Yeah, that's just always something that I'm thinking of, is like, how can I improve? How can I be better? And I'll never stop doing that. What did it take for you to start uploading on YouTube? Like the courage to put yourself out here, and is it all a sudden leap of faith thing or baby steps? And finally, what tips, if any, would you give to people who want to start making videos on YouTube? So as for putting yourself out there, I would say it's a leap of faith. It's really just making a video with my face in it and my voice and my personality, and kind of putting that out on the internet and trying to not care what people think about you. As for tips I would give, I guess more along the same vein, just if you're going to do YouTube, find what you want to do, find what's interesting to you and what you're passionate about, and then just go for it. Like let your passion drive your YouTube channel. If you are not 100% passionate about something, then it becomes very hard to make a video on it. And so it doesn't matter what you're passionate about at this point. YouTube is a big enough platform that if you're into like specific Warhammer 40K figurine painting, you can make a YouTube channel about that and get like 100,000 subscribers, because a bunch of other people are going to be into that thing. And if you're super passionate about 40K Warhammer painting, then immediately people are going to look at your videos and like see that passion come through and want to watch more of it. And so for anyone starting YouTube, I would just say, be passionate about the things that you want to make videos on, and make videos on the things you're passionate about. And that will carry you further than I can even say. Have you gotten used to the whiplash in terms of viewership on certain videos? What do you think causes some videos to perform so better than others? So specifically, I've had, I think 4 videos now that have hit over 100,000 views, and other videos on my channel that haven't even hit 10,000. So that's kind of what they're talking about right now in terms of like the whiplash from that. And I think it is just a case of the videos that I know have blown up, that like I can see the reason for them blowing up. The reason for me always is I wanted to make a video that I would want to watch. And specifically when I had made videos like my fan service video or my Elden Ring critique or my horror games video even, I had wanted to make a video on that, looked on YouTube for videos like it so I could see like, okay, how did someone else make a video on fan service? And then I looked up fan service and nobody had made a video about it, like at all. And so I'm thinking, all right, I'd be like the first person to talk about it in this way. And so immediately kind of in the back of your mind, when you look at something like that, where it's a subject I would like to see a video on that nobody has made a video on, that's usually a pretty good recipe for success in terms of like a viral video on YouTube. And so that to me is almost definitely the reason why a lot of my videos have taken off, is just because I'm talking about things that not a lot of people have talked about in the same way. And then the other videos that don't do so well, generally it's just because I'm making videos that other people have made. Tons of other people had made a video on Chainsaw Man. Tons of other people had made like ranking and reviewing videos, and that's not like a super big thing that people would want to watch. Tons of people had made videos on the Cowboy Bebop show. And so like, there's no specific reason why someone would watch those, but I just wanted to make them anyway. And that's ultimately my goal for any of this, is just to make videos. So it's never really like, oh, I have to make a video that no one's ever seen before on this topic. But you can usually tell when you're doing research into a topic that like, oh, this is a unique perspective that I'm taking that I haven't seen on YouTube. And that kind of tells me that it's going to be a better performing video. How do you deal with negative comments? So far, all I've gotten are negative comments on my videos, although they do suck. So first of all, I mean, I just talked about how I deleted probably close to 100 videos off of my channel because I hated them and thought they sucked. So I would say to anyone, don't ever like put yourself down for making videos. If you made it, you did something amazing. You created content out of essentially nothing. Like, that's magic. That's incredible. And it takes an incredible amount of work to make even the lamest video. But yeah, every single creator out there thinks that their videos suck. Every time I upload, I'm thinking like, oh, this is the worst piece of shit ever. And then it does really well. And I'm like, all right, maybe not. Or it doesn't do well. And it's okay, I've confirmed that every video I make sucks. Like, everyone has that voice in the back of their head. As for the voices who actually exist telling you that your videos suck in the comments section, I just don't care. I don't know. It's like, I see a negative comment and it's usually one of two kinds. It's either about the video or like something specific that I talk about, specifically with like my fan service video or like my horror games video or my Elden Ring video. A lot of negative comments are just entire fucking novel length arguments against every point I made in the video. And I just don't care about what you have to. The video is already out. I don't know what you want me to say. If I make a comment that like, oh, I thought this game was bad, and then you comment in the video like, oh, fuck you, the game was really good. Okay, do you want me to edit the video and change that? Like, what does your comment do other than just vent your frustration? So when I get comments like that, it's like, I just delete them and move on. Like, I don't really have any negative feelings associated with them. Ultimately, their opinion doesn't matter. They're a name on a screen, just a name on a screen. It may as well be a robot. Some of them probably are robots. So I don't really like take any stock in that. I have, since I've gotten more successful, gotten a lot more of the second type of comment, which is just personal attacks. Just, you're a neckbeard, which I am. I've grown my beard out as a sort of protest against my own workplace because I hate my job. But like, you're a neckbeard, you're fat, your videos suck. Like, just comments that aren't trying to even respond to anything. They're just trying to be hateful. And again, I don't know. I have a very thick skin when it comes to internet stuff. I've been on the internet for a long time, and I don't think I've ever like been fazed by YouTube comments that much. So I think taking that sort of like step back where you realize just how unimportant comments are in general, let alone the negative ones are, means that you can really just start to like not care about them. I don't know if that's tangible advice. That's just sort of my opinion on it, because it's not affecting me. It's not, if someone in real life told me fuck you, I might get emotional about it. But if someone over a computer is telling me that, they probably wouldn't even say that to your face. Like, they're hiding behind some anonymity, behind a blank username and like the default profile picture. It doesn't matter what they say. Are you my dad? Yes. How do you best avoid burnout when making a video? I don't know if I've hit the point where I would get burnout making a video necessarily. I haven't been making videos for like long enough or enough videos that I would feel a certain amount of burnout. So I feel like that's a question more to ask someone much bigger than I am who's been doing it a lot longer. Specifically for me though, it's just, if I feel like I'm burnt out on a specific thing, I change what I'm doing. I felt burnt out when I was making shitty Let's Plays in high school, so I stopped doing that and eventually made what I'm doing now, which I feel much more passionate about. And then when I was making my Elden Ring video, I got super burnt out on like gaming and Elden Ring in general. And so I started making like different types of videos in order to sort of renew my passion in it. And then, yeah, that's just kind of how I keep myself making videos is just switch it up. I have a bunch of different things that I am passionate about. And so I think ping-ponging between all of them is a super good way for me to not get super focused on one particular one, like gaming or this type of game, and being able to like switch up keeps me from getting super burnt out on that one topic. But I haven't been doing this long enough that I would really know what true burnout feels like, I don't think. What is your favorite and least favorite part about making a video? My favorite part by far is specifically the last 10% of like editing a video. It's such an amazing feeling when a video is like finally coming together in a timeline and you're adding music and like getting all the sound effects or like text on screen in, and I'm going like, wow, this is actually shaping up to be something that I would want to watch. Like, this is super cool. The video is basically done and I can just sort of look at it and be proud. The worst part of making a video is probably the first 60 to 80% of editing, which is taking like 3 hours of footage and chopping it up into half an hour. My fan service video, probably 3 hours of recording that I chopped into 40 minutes because I do takes and retakes. All of my videos are scripted, so I flub a line and say it again. I take long pauses and cut all that out. So I'm just going through and like chop, cutting everything out of the video. And it can be very tedious sometimes, and very easy to like just get completely uninterested in. That or just like general writer's block or like idea block, if that makes any sense, where I'll just sit around for like an entire day and not be able to progress in writing a script or in like coming up with an idea for my next video. So it's probably my least favorite part, actually, if I think about it, just because that part, editing, you can like power through, but being out of ideas, you just kind of feel like useless. Like you don't feel like you're doing anything, and there's no way to like power through that creative process. Like you can't come up with a writer's room to like pitch me ideas. So yeah, that part can like take a super long time and feel super shitty. What's one topic that you really want to make a video on or talk about the most? I think with any idea I've had that I've like really wanted to talk about, I've talked about it. I'm very impulsive when it comes to what videos I make. It's basically just whatever idea I have that I want to do the most is my next video. Does not matter if there's any sort of like trend or anything going on with my channel. I just kind of make whatever I want. Though I guess the one sort of idea I've had more in general is just long form, like 4-hour plus video retrospectives on like a show I like. Sort of if you've seen Pyrocynical's video on Utopia, that sort of like 8-hour retrospective he does covering the entire thing. I really like watching videos like that, and I think that that could be something interesting to do as like a longer form piece of content. The only problem with that is, while I do have a ton of shows that I would love to cover and like I have the passion to make that video, it would probably take like 2 months to make something that long with like that much effort going into it. And as of right now, I don't know if I'd ever want to just take 2 months essentially away from the channel in order to make that. So that's something I'm saving for when I do have enough subscribers, or if I do have some sort of better workflow where I can make videos in between, that I would want to make those like really long videos I'd want to make. Is there any risky video topic you've ever wanted to cover but didn't because it would be too hard or too controversial? So specifically with like controversial videos, I don't think there's any ideas I've had that would be like, oh, you can't make that on YouTube. Really the fan service video was that video got age restricted like 4 times, at least 3 times when I uploaded it. And then I manually appealed it when I had finally put it up, and it got greenlit, and that video is up and not demonetized as of yet, fingers crossed. And anything even more risky than that, I can't even think of. I've recently been watching Heart Vegan, I think that's how you say his name, who does hentai reviews, and I really enjoy those videos. And I think doing way more like adult stuff like that would be fun at some point, but I just have no particular want to do that. If there was a video that was like super controversial or super risky to make, I'd probably just make it. I'd just put it out there. If it gets age restricted, it gets age restricted. That's kind of what you expect at this point on YouTube, but it would never stop me from making a video ever. I don't think anything would ever make me just completely halt and not consider it as an idea because it's like too edgy or whatever. That's never really crossed my mind, I guess. When will you start to make even longer videos? I need noise and your voice is great. Well, thank you. actually been super self-conscious about my voice like my entire life. I don't know why. So hearing like multiple comments saying that like I have a nice voice feels super great. Thank you for that. As for like the length of my videos, I just make them whatever length I feel they should be. Generally, I just kind of have a rough idea of it in writing. I know that for my script specifically, if I hit 2,000 words, that equates to about 10 minutes of video, and then sort of plan my videos around that. So if I see a video that's gonna be like 40 minutes, I might just make it 40 minutes, like in the case of my horror games video. If it's 40 minutes and I don't think it should be that long, then I start to cut it in the scripting process. And then as soon as it's done and like recorded, it's just whatever length it gets edited to. I don't think about length while editing or like cut stuff to make it shorter. It's just whatever it ends up being. I cut for pacing specifically. So if a video has like really slow pacing, I'll cut something out to speed it up. But I'll never cut anything from a video just because it's too long. So every video I make is just kind of a different length based on how long I think it should be or how long I think it can be interesting for. Did you start YouTube as a side hustle to do on the side or as a full-time job? So I mean, I started it as a side hustle. I assume you're asking if I started it like just to do it as a side hustle or if I had dreams of becoming a YouTuber. And I mean, I can't lie. Everyone who makes YouTube videos knows that you can become a YouTuber by doing it. So I don't think anyone's uploading videos at this point without at least an idea in the back of your mind that like, hey, if this blows up, I could make this my job. So yeah, I, especially now with the growth that I've gotten and like actually making money on YouTube, am sort of pushing to become a full-time YouTuber if I can. But actually starting to make videos, I just made them to make videos. I did not expect to even get 1,000 subscribers in the entire course of uploading videos. I just wanted to like make stuff because it was fun. And even now, if my channel were to like die tomorrow and never grow beyond this, I would be content just still making videos, still putting stuff out there, not getting paid for it or like having any incentive to do it, just putting it out there because I really like the creative process. That's why I do this. I used to watch an Anituber called Digibro and really enjoyed their videos. Your videos kind of remind me of their style of video. Have you ever heard of them? And if so, have they influenced your video style? So I have not heard of Digibro. I believe they have unfortunately now, I think, quit YouTube, but their now channel name is Ygg Studio, something like that. I'll put up here and link them in the description. So if you want to check them out, you can, because I'm going to recommend them. This comment actually made me check out their videos and look up and see everything that they had made. And they make really good anime critiques and sort of long form video essays, very similar to what I do. A lot of their videos have a very similar feel to like what I put into my sort of critique videos. So I can definitely see where someone would like make the comparison, but I was not influenced by their style, did not know who they were until this comment. But now that I have seen them, I probably will be influenced by them a little bit because they made really good stuff that I would want to sort of adapt into my own videos. And also, if anyone watching this wants more anime videos and has not heard of Digibro or Ygg Studio, don't know how to say their new channel name, go check them out because they make videos I think anyone who likes my videos would enjoy. So I'll link them in the description. You can go check them out. Great videos. Yeah, I'm definitely influenced now. They made really good stuff. As you grow bigger, are you going to try to keep this variety in content? And also, what direction do you want to take the channel in the future? So speaking to variety in the future, I think I want to keep some consistency on my channel for like the foreseeable future and like the near future, just in order to, I guess, just build some consistency where if you click on a video of mine and you've never heard of me before and you like the video, you can go to my channel and like all of the other videos that I've made. I know a lot of people really like to binge watch my content. I've gotten a lot of comments on like random old videos I've made from people being like, I binge watched every video you've made. This is amazing. And so yeah, I'd want to be able to make it where you can just watch any one of my videos if you liked any other one, and they're all sort of consistent in what they're about and being about nerd culture and sort of my general view on things. And being able to build a catalog of that, I think, is important to me right now. But in the future, I am going to make the most random shit you've ever seen. I have an entire like 6,000 word script that I started a while ago that I just like forgot about the entire history of Canadian kids television, which is super weird. I cover like a bunch of different shows in that script, but yeah, just random stuff like that I would want to make in the future because I can talk about anything for hours. Ignore this if it seems rather intruding, but how old are you and are you in college? And as a slightly lighter question, what creators inspired you the most? I've answered the second one already. Lots of people ask that question. As for how old am I and if I'm in college, I am 23 as of the recording of this video. My birthday is in July of 1999. So basically, whatever year it is, I am 6 months older than that. So it's 2022, but it's the second half, so I'm 23. I am technically in college. I've basically dropped out at this point. I want to finish it. It's not like I'm actually dropped out or anything, but I've been in college for like 6 years now because the last couple classes that I need to take got like really messed up due to COVID, and I basically couldn't get into any of them. And I just kind of stopped caring altogether about university. But I am a computer science major, which you can easily tell from all of this that I am a computer science major. So definitely doing a lot of other stuff before I go back to university, but I'd like to finish it at some point. Why the name Lextorias? So I have also gotten this question a lot. I'll put any of the ones in the Q&A up above me here. But basically, when I started the channel, I believe Dark Souls 3 had just come out. And so when I initially made my first YouTube channel, it had a really terrible username that is like unpronounceable. And I've tried to scrub off the internet because I kind of hate it. But making a new one, I was really thinking of like, what would I be okay being called for the foreseeable future if I decide to make videos? And literally all I came up with was my name, Alex, plus Torias of the Abyss from Dark Souls 1, who is like still to this day the coolest video game character I've ever seen. Probably the coolest character in fiction I've ever seen. I just fucking love that guy. And just mashed them together. Just Alex, Torias, Lextorias. That's it. And basically my whole profile was just based on Torias. And I've since sort of developed my own personality and my own branding. But yeah, I literally just started off as like a Dark Souls fanboy. Why a gray t-shirt though? Probably a fair question. When I was searching for clothing is hard to find for me because I am a big boy. And so I do not care about how I look in any capacity in terms of like what clothes I wear or anything. So I literally just buy the cheapest clothes that I can buy in the largest quantity that's comfortable to me. And these gray t-shirts are $8, I want to say. So I will literally, whenever they're in stock, just pick up like 10 of them and just take them home with me and not have to buy t-shirts anymore. So I just bought these because I thought gray was just a nice neutral color that I could just wear all the time. I have a ton of these types of t-shirts and just wear them in every video because they're pretty much the only shirts I own. And I just decided to like turn that into a sort of meme about my channel that I always wore gray t-shirts because I do. And I figured to address it would probably be better than just wearing them in every video and never talking about it. Do you have any shirts that aren't gray? Yes, I have, I think like 3 or 4 shirts that aren't gray. I just don't wear them on camera because at this point it's funnier to me to just never wear any other type of shirt. What is the greatest challenge you faced in life, whether personally or professionally? Secondarily, what motivates you to continue living each day? Wow, that's a pretty deep question, pretty serious question compared to some of the other ones that I have gotten. Greatest challenge I faced in life? I don't know, like depression, just like mental health stuff. I think that's most people's answers in this day and age. I've had pretty terrible mental health for a lot of my life. And so being able to overcome a lot of that is, yeah, pretty hard, pretty difficult to do sometimes. Yeah, that's most of it. That's most of the challenges that I faced. I'm a really privileged person, if I'm being honest. I grew up in a really nice family. Haven't had to worry about a lot of stuff, haven't grown in any hard times. So yeah, I haven't had any like tough challenges. I don't want to ever say like I've lived a hard life or anything, because I really haven't. And what motivates me to continue living each day? I mean, not dying is a huge part of that. I assume that's most people's, is just dying kind of sounds really shitty. As for like what motivates me, honestly, it's going to sound corny as fuck, but YouTube. Just being able to make videos has been like my passion for the longest time. And I think not so much as it like motivates me to keep living, as if I wouldn't have that motivation without YouTube. I don't want to say that, but definitely what's motivated me to like have a purpose in life at this point has been to like create videos and sort of have an impact in that way. Whereas in university or anything with like computer science and all the stuff I'd been doing before, or just 9-to-5 jobs I'd worked, you don't really feel that. You just kind of feel like you're living and doing stuff and that's it. And now it's like, I have a mission that I want to accomplish, which is to have a successful YouTube channel. If you could go back in time to relive any year from start to finish, what would it be? That is a very interesting hypothetical question. God, I don't even know. There's probably some year in like middle school that I'd want to relive just because that was a really chill time for me. Probably in elementary school, actually. Whatever year I got a Game Boy, that'd probably be the year I'd want to relive because that was a really sick year. And I think I just have a lot of fun reliving that year because that was probably like one of the better years where you just don't have to worry about anything. You just fucking play Game Boy and watch TV all day. Like, hell yeah. Wish I could do that now. Are you real? Have you considered your existence in this world? What video game do you wish would be an animation? Gotta love the existential questions followed up with video game anime. I am real. I have considered my existence in this world. Part of taking university is I took a lot of philosophy classes because I'm really interested in philosophy. And part of philosophy is Descartes' work, which is very existential and talking about if you're real or not. And he came to the conclusion that I very much agree with, that I think, therefore I am. As in, I'm able to think, I'm able to have thoughts, and more specifically, I'm able to question my own existence, therefore I must exist. Because if you didn't exist, you wouldn't be able to question your own existence because you don't exist. So I am very real, have considered my existence in the world. What a strange question. And what video game do you wish would be an animation? There's a lot of video games I think that would make a good anime. Specifically, there's one that did get an anime, which I'll talk about later, but a game that hasn't gotten one already, I think a game like Devil May Cry or Doom. I feel like Devil May Cry has to have gotten at least something, right? Like that seems like they would have done that already. But one of those types of games I think would make a really, really good anime just because the action scenes would be like the most intense shit ever. So I think, yeah, probably like Doom would just make a sick ass like Goblin Slayer-esque anime that would be really cool. 2 questions. Do you like Jerma? Trans rights? Question mark. That's the whole question. It just says trans rights. To both of those questions, yes, I like both of them. Don't have much to... Trans rights are really freaking cool. I have a lot of trans friends and people I know and really support that because I'm not a bigot. As for Jerma, I really like Jerma. I see lots of weird clips of him on TikTok and Twitter. I have seen a couple of his streams, but I have not watched a lot of them. And I feel like... I don't know. I tuned into his streams and I'm like, oh, he's just like a normal streamer. And then you watch clips of him and you're like, he's the most insane man I've ever seen. So I think there is some like disconnect between the greatest moments of his stream that everyone clips and like him as just a normal streamer. But he is very talented and I do really like him. I just don't watch him regularly. Your top 5 favorite anime. Answer fast, no thinking. I did not specify stipulations in your questions. I'm gonna take however long I want to think, okay? My favorite anime, top 5 specifically, are very basic. I am a basic bitch. I have not been into anime nearly as long as a lot of people who've like been into it their whole lives. So a lot of my favorite anime are still like the top my anime list anime, which I understand is very basic and I should watch more and I'm trying to watch more. But yeah, a lot of my top 5s are like, oh yeah, that's everyone's top 5 sort of thing. So my top 5 anime in no particular order, and I've written these down so I remember them, are Steins Gate, Re:Zero, Evangelion, Gurren Lagann, and Cowboy Bebop. I think each of those anime has like in some way, they've emotionally affected me and have left an impression that will probably last my entire life in some way. So that's why those are my top 5, even though they're all very popular shows. But I really like all of them. What is your favorite anime ever? So specifically, if I were to pick a favorite of my top 5 anime, I would probably go with Steins Gate. That show is amazing to me. It's like perfect in every way. I have not seen a show that has made me cry nearly as much as Steins Gate, and I think that that adds a lot to what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's just like one of my favorite shows because it's so well made and I feel like I could rewatch it at any point and like still fall in love with it. Whereas Evangelion affected me so much more, but I don't necessarily have a want to immediately rewatch it. Like the idea it represents is really cool and I really enjoy everything that it means to me, but the show itself has its own flaws. So it's not necessarily like a perfect show, whereas I think Steins Gate is like pretty much perfect to me and I really enjoy rewatching it. Favorite anime / favorite anime girl. So specifically with waifus, I don't really care that much about waifus at all. I don't have any like particular want to have a waifu. I don't really engage with that culture a lot. Probably Kurisu from Steins Gate would be my favorite, just because that's like half the show is getting you to like her, and she's really well written and a really good character. So that would be why I like her. But there's just not a lot of like, oh, I want a body pillow of Rem from ReZero or whatever. Just like characters, you know? Yeah. Oh, Ario Speedwagon. Yeah, that's my answer. What was your gateway anime? So I guess that kind of means like my first anime that got me into it, which is a little bit hard to answer just because I've had phases of liking anime. I watched anime casually as a kid because it was just on with like any other Saturday morning cartoon or anything. So I watched like mostly Dragon Ball Z a lot as a kid, but I didn't get into anime from that. And then as a teenager, I think the first like anime I had seen where it's like, oh, I'm watching an anime and I really like anime was Attack on Titan, because season 1 was so huge when that came out, and really got me hooked on the show. And then even after that, I sort of like phased out of liking anime. I didn't watch too many from that. But the one that then I watched and just sort of immediately started binging anime afterwards was Death Note, which I found in college. I started watching Death Note, and then that's where I just started snowballing the amount of anime I'd seen and sort of led to my anime obsession that I have now. Have you ever read Berserk? If so, what are your thoughts on it? My favorite manga personally. So I have read Berserk. I have not finished or even gotten that far at all into it. I started reading it a while ago and sort of, I don't know if I forgot about it or just dropped it for whatever reason. I think I was just busy with other stuff, so I couldn't have time to read it. But definitely at some point soon, I really want to like get into it and read it beginning to end, because it's pretty amazing even from the little I've read. What's your favorite TV show? My favorite TV show of all time, of any capacity, probably my favorite work of fiction ever made, is Mr. Robot. That is the best show I've ever seen, the best piece of media I have ever seen. I fucking love Mr. Robot and would highly recommend it to absolutely anyone, because not enough people appreciate that that is the greatest show ever. And I would want to make a video on Mr. Robot, but that video would probably be like 4 hours long, so I would not have time to make that right now. But Mr. Robot is absolutely my favorite show of all time. Go watch that right now. What's your dream car? So I am not a huge car person at all. I think literally all I know about top sports cars or anything, or, you know, dream cars, is from Top Gear and the Grand Tour. Those are literally the only like car related anything I consume. So I don't really have a dream car. I currently drive a Jeep that's really old and broken and failing on every level. And if I were to get a new car, it would be a nicer Jeep, just because I like Jeeps and they're roomy. As for any like dream car or anything like that, literally the only one I can think of that I thought of for this question was the car from Mad Max, because I think that car is really cool. And I even looked it up, and it's a Ford Falcon XB GT Coupe 1973 V8 Interceptor. And I'll put it up. It's the coolest fucking car ever. I really like Mad Max. And I guess if I were like a billionaire, I would buy that car because it's really cool and I would feel like a badass driving it. Can you pretend I gave you a question that took you a long time to answer? No. What are your favorite books and or movies? So in terms of books, I do not read as much as I should. I am basically illiterate and just don't like reading just because I lose focus really quickly. So books that I have read are very few, and I probably don't have the best taste in books. My current favorite series, and I should say current meaning in the last few years because I haven't read too many in the last few years, is The Expanse by James S.A. Corey, the whole series of books, which inspired the TV show that I really, really like. And the books are basically just the television show. Very little has changed. I just really like the books because they're very well written. In terms of like favorite books of all time, literally the only one I thought of was a YA series that I read as a teenager, probably even like a kid. I don't even think I was in high school yet, that I really, really liked, called Pendragon. And I've seen nothing online or anyone talk about Pendragon. It was like my favorite series. I read Harry Potter, didn't get really into it. I was super fucking into Percy Jackson, but Pendragon was like my shit when I was in middle school. That was like the coolest thing ever. And it's written by DJ McHale, who is the producer for Are You Afraid of the Dark, the the horror television series. And he wrote this YA novel series called Pendragon, which is basically your Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, like YA superpowered male teenage protagonist doing adventures, except he's a dimensional traveler who goes to like alternate realities and timelines and has to save them from this villain threatening the multiverse. It's really fucking cool. It's basically like a comic book storyline, but the worlds that he goes to are really cool, I think. It's just a really cool series and I haven't heard literally anyone talk about it. So I'm bringing it up now. If you've ever read Pendragon, leave a goddamn comment because I need to know that I'm not insane and that other people have read and liked that series because I really liked it as a kid. So you watch any good shows lately? I've seen a few good shows lately, quite a few of them, quite into watching shows. My favorite show recently is, what is the sauce for that thumbnail? And by thumbnail, I assume everyone is talking about the fan service video thumbnail that I used. A lot of people asking where I got that image from. And I've kind of skirted around replying to comments about it just because I have no idea what YouTube's policy on posting links to the site that I found it on is. But I did post on my Twitter where you can find that image of the things that everyone wants to see. So I'll link that in the description where you can find my Twitter post, then linking to the website that has 18 plus material on it, where I found the image that I used in that thumbnail, which really it's not even like an 18 plus image. I don't know why that one got flagged because it's fine on YouTube. But yeah, go to that link to my Twitter where I posted where I have that source for that thumbnail. And also just follow me on Twitter because hey, you should follow me on Twitter. Yo, bro, what is your favorite brand of gummies? No one is going to expect my answer on this. I'll even give you time to think of what I could possibly say for my favorite brand of gummies, because you're going to be wrong. Because my favorite brand of gummies, the best gummy that I have ever eaten in my life, is Jameson Melatonin Gummies. I don't know why. I don't know how it happened. They are the most delicious gummy candies I have ever tasted in my life, to the point where I have tried to buy candy specifically to find something with the same texture and taste as the Jameson Melatonin Gummies. It's like my good boy treat when I'm going to bed. Like I'll literally be like 10 minutes away from going to sleep and I'll pop in gummies and be like, oh, these are so good. I want to keep eating these. But you can't because they're melatonin and they'll kill you. I don't know what happens if you have too much melatonin. I know it's not good, probably. But Jameson Melatonin Gummies are the most delicious. I have yet to find any actual gummy candy that comes close to how those taste to me. I don't know why they're so good. Apple juice or apple cider? Probably apple cider. I have not drank apple juice since I was 10, I want to say. I don't drink it that often or really like it. It's just purely sweet. I'm much more of an orange juice type of person. But apple cider is pretty good. You get some nice hard cider, you're pretty set on a Friday night. It's pretty delicious. But apple juice, I don't really care for it. So a bit of a wild question. Thoughts and favorites on cookies. Your profile picture reminds me of a snickerdoodle. That's really funny. Yeah, I don't really eat cookies that often. I get a craving every once in a while. If I do get a craving for cookies, it's almost always specifically those shitty fucking Walmart sugar cookies that you see with like the fake frosting on them. They're disgusting. I hate them. I eat one of them and immediately feel sick, but I have a craving for them so often that I think they lace them with some drugs of some kind, because there's no reason I should ever have a craving for those. And yet like once a month, I'll be like, oh, I really want a sugar cookie right now. They're awful. The better cookie is white chocolate macadamia. Those are just the best cookies ever made. If you get like a Subway macadamia cookie, they're like the most delicious thing on their entire menu. But I don't really have cookies that often. I get a craving and have some, and then you buy like the entire pack from like Costco or whatever and eat like 2 of them, and then you're like, I'm good. And they just go stale. So I don't have cookies enough to be like an expert on that. How you going? Doing pretty well. Pretty good day. It's What time is it? 2:27 p.m. and I've been recording for a couple hours now, and I've been up literally all night, so it was a pretty good day. Favorite song by Perkons. I have no idea who that band is. I had to look them up for this video. They have a pretty cool song called Slidotava. I have no idea what any of the band or song means. Slidotava. It's a pretty good song, I think. If you had to erase either Naruto or Dragon Ball Z from existence, which are you picking? I do not like Naruto that much. Naruto. I know it's pronounced Naruto. I'm not going to say it like that every time. I watched Dragon Ball a lot as a kid, so I still have a lot of fond memories from it, even though I haven't like actually gone through and watched the whole show, just whatever they showed me on Saturday mornings. But Naruto, I officially watched the entire first part of Naruto up until the start of Shippuden, and I was just kind of really bored for the most part. You watch the Rock Lee versus Gaara fight, and it's the most hype shit I've ever seen in my life. And then it's like 100 episodes of them running around a forest, not doing a whole lot. So it's not my favorite show. Maybe Shippuden gets better, but it's like 500 episodes and I think has even more filler. So not looking forward to that anytime soon. So unfortunately, Naruto is probably the show that I would delete, because Dragon Ball, I at least have fond memories of, even if that show probably has just as much filler. But it's real cool because it's big dudes punching each other instead of ninjas, and I just like that more. Question: what is your opinion on British people? They know what they did. You play Arknights? Yes, I have played Arknights. So even though I've made basically an entire video shitting on gacha games and how evil they are, I'm a weak-willed person and I have played them before. And Arknights was probably the best one. It was definitely very good and I really enjoyed playing it. It's a very, I mean, like most gacha games, it's good to like time waste when you're sitting at your job or whatever. But I have no intention of playing them casually because they're just, it's so transparent what they're doing at this point to me that it's really hard to enjoy games like gacha games. But I have played Arknights. It's pretty good. Have you played Prey 2015? I asked this because, well, it has cool DLC that kind of adds a lot to the game. I just want more people's insight on the game is all. So I have played Prey. Funnily enough, when I used to do Let's Plays, that was one of the games I did a Let's Play of. I have not finished the game. I've gotten 2/3 of the way through it probably. Did never finish it. I just had other games I was playing and just kind of like dropped it after a little bit. But it was very good. It's an immersive sim, so I love any of those kinds of games. I love arcane games. I just have not finished it, and I really want to go back to it and finish it at some point, because I've heard especially the DLC, I think it's the Moonwalker DLC, I think that's what it's called, is very, very good, and I really want to play that and see what that has to offer. I also have a lot of other games I need to play, so it's very hard to like make time for that. Do you play fighting games? I do not really play fighting games. I don't play fighting games and I don't play competitive FPS for pretty much the same reason, which is that it takes a lot of time to be good at them and you don't really have fun unless you're good at them, I've found. If you really suck at a fighting game, it's really not a lot of fun to just get your ass handed to you all the time. So I have had not that much fun with fighting games that I've tried to get into. I think the only one I've really enjoyed, I don't know if you would consider it a fighting game, but For Honor. I got really into For Honor because that game is basically Dark Souls. It has the Dark Souls parrying mechanics, which I love, and I got really, really good at it, which is why I liked it. I was a Valkyrie main, and basically the way Valkyrie works in that game is you can just fucking parry every single move an opponent throws at you and like punish all of them. And I was just a parrying god at that game, so I just deleted opponents all the time, and it was super, super fun. But I eventually stopped playing it for some reason. I don't even remember why. I think I just got burnt out in the game, honestly. And that was like the only fighting-esque game that I've really been into. Others, like even Smash Bros or whatever, it's just like I don't really have the time to like learn how to be good at that game in order to like compete in it. Unless I had a reason to, I don't think I would ever do that. It's not something I find like too fun. Favorite console? My favorite console of all time probably would be the PS2. That's the first like home console I ever had, and I played a lot of games on it. That was a pretty good console. That or the Game Boy, specifically the Game Boy Advanced, the first one that flipped, because I played Pokemon on that and a lot of other games, and that was like my first ever gaming experience. So that I have really fond memories of, though I do think the PS2 is probably better. What game do you think has the best soundtrack? Hotline Miami. without a doubt, best soundtrack in gaming, best soundtrack probably of any piece of media ever. I just love the Hotline Miami soundtrack a lot. It literally influenced my taste in music for like the rest of my life. Like even to this day, I love synthwave music and any music related to it from Hotline Miami. Like getting into that and hearing a Perturbator track for the first time blew my fucking mind. That game goes so incredibly hard and I love it just as a game, but the soundtrack specifically to Hotline Miami is amazing. Hearing like Hydrogen by Moon is still ingrained in my brain to like the hypest gaming moments I've ever had playing that game. What's your favorite story told through a video game or its mechanics? And also kind of random question, but have you ever played Sifu? Great gameplay and its story, while simple, is implemented into the gameplay, making it 10 times better in my opinion. So I have not played Sifu. I have it, I think, still installed on my PC, but I have not had time to play it. I've heard it's very good, have not started it. In terms of games told by their mechanics, again, Hotline Miami is a really good candidate just because that's one of the few games like about video game violence that I think really tells it well. You go through the whole game with this like blood pumping music, just killing everyone in sight. And then as soon as everyone's dead, the music cuts out and you have to like walk through all the bodies you killed. And it really drives home like how fucked up it all is. And I would probably need time to think of one that has like a deeper story told through its gameplay than something like those, which just are more commentaries on violence in video games. Something I love to fantasize about is what my dream game would be like, and I love hearing what other people have to say about theirs. So my question is, what mechanics / setting / mix of genres would your dream game have? No need to worry about it being unrealistic since it's a dream. My perfect video game would probably be a mix of an open world RPG like Fallout New Vegas plus an immersive sim like Prey or Dishonored. I think basically if there was some combination that like merged those together, that would probably be my ideal game and also take 15 years to develop because it'd be so complicated. But yeah, massive open world with like a bunch of like densely packed cities that you could fully interact with and like pick up every object, interact with everyone, like assassinate people, do whatever in like an immersive sim type way, would I think be probably my favorite game. And that's why a lot of games like Cyberpunk that sort of advertised themselves as that really let me down, because I really wanted that game to be essentially my perfect game, and it just was not. What was your first game that you remember playing, and which game are you ready to die on a hill on? So the first game I ever remember playing was Pokemon Fire Red. I remember, I think it was Memorial Day. I want to say it was some public holiday where me and my family had all gone to like some ceremony thing. I think again it was Memorial Day. And afterwards, my uncle had given me a Game Boy cartridge and a Game Boy Advance. And he specifically let me pick between Fire Red and Leaf Green because he bought both versions and he would play one and I'd play the other. And so I picked up Fire Red. And that was like my first gaming experience. I remember walking through malls, just completely focused on this Game Boy in my hands, unable to look up and like almost falling off ledges, walking through a mall with my parents because I'm just focused on playing Fire Red. And I put like 100 hours into that game as a kid. So that's definitely probably the first game I remember ever playing and like one of my favorites because of it. As for a game I would die on a hill on, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the games I like are pretty popular. I don't really love any super unpopular games. I'm trying to think of any that I would like have a controversial opinion on. Yeah, I don't really have too many like hot takes for video games where I really love them and defend them. Tell us another nostalgic story about your favorite games. Some of my best memories involve Halo Reach Forge. I'll never forget popping that game into the 360 and waiting for my friends to get on and just kill each other mercilessly in the dumbest ways. You know it was 2012 because we called the map Derpy Wars. So quirky XD LOL. That's really funny actually. A fond memory I have of a game that is probably a terrible game, and I have no doubt in my mind if I replayed it, I probably wouldn't like it, but I played Army of Two on the PlayStation 3, specifically my friend Nick's PlayStation 3. He came over to my house, we had a sleepover, and we popped in Army of Two, and we started playing it like early afternoon as soon as we got off from school, played it all night, beat the campaign of it because it's only like a 8-hour game. It's a very short game. And then once you beat the campaign, you can replay it with all your weapons unlocked. And that game has like the most insane, like golden weapons that you can upgrade. So we would play the game with these golden miniguns. You could literally wield a full minigun with like gold and like diamond encrusted whatever on it. And you could, I remember they had a cover mechanic where you would like shoot the minigun over your shoulder, which is insane. And I just remember him and me playing that game all night, beating the campaign once and then like a second time once we had unlocked all the guns and everything. And we just had like an absolute blast with it because that game was such a fun, dumb third-person shooter. But again, I think if I played it now, I probably wouldn't have as good of a time with it. But yeah, that memory is very fond to me. What's your favorite game of all time? If you can't decide, give us a quick rundown of 10 to 15 games. Thanks! I think you wildly underestimate the difference in difficulty between those two tasks. Favorite game or 10 to 15? Jesus. My favorite game of all time would probably be Dishonored. I just love that game. I can replay it all the time. And it's very replayable because it's got all of the different options for like lethal, non-lethal, beat the game without alerting a single guard, beat the game without ever using a power. And I've done all of them. I have most of the achievements in that game for like all of the difficult like run-throughs that you could do. And that's just one of my favorite games ever. Probably close second is Bloodborne, which is one game I have 100% gotten every trophy in because I just replayed it so much. I was practically like speed running that game. And again, I can just replay that game at any point. It's just so fun to me. But Dishonored is like my top favorite. I just love everything about that world and the game and characters and everything, to the point where my legitimate first idea for a tattoo would be the mark of the outsider on the back of my hand, which is a terrible first tattoo idea. So I probably shouldn't do that. But I just love that game so much. Which genre of gaming do you dislike the most? Which one is your favorite? So dislike the most, definitely gacha. If that counts as a genre of gaming, which to me it definitely does, I really dislike gacha games a lot. I have a whole video explaining why I hate them because they're pretty shitty in how they basically steal from their player base. And favorite game genre, probably immersive sim. For all the same reasons I love Dishonored, I love any game that has just so much interactivity with the world, and specifically any game where it'll like give you a mission and there's just an infinite amount of ways to beat the mission depending on like how you go about it. So even something like Metal Gear Solid 5, where it's like, all right, we just need you to take out this guy. You can neutralize him, bring him back to base, kill him, snipe him from a mile away, go up close and personal, blow up the entire base he's in, like do whatever you want. I just love games that let you do that. With the fact that stealth games have changed, open world games are saturated, and games as a service is the trend, I'm curious about a hypothetical situation. If you could wish one thing changed in the games industry with the guarantee that your wish would be granted as intended, what would it be? So mainly I think my big problem with the games industry, or at least the biggest, most clear problem that I wish would be fixed, is game publishers are really greedy and really just anti-consumer in most everything they do. And so if there was one thing I could change that would just affect the entire games industry, it would definitely be that publishers be pro-consumer and not greedy fucks, because I think that would fix so many problems in gaming at this point. Here's my question. How do you think your ADHD has affected your relationship with gaming? Do you think it's a reason you got into it? Maybe a reason you lean into certain types of games more than others? As for how my attention has affected the way I play games, mainly it just manifests in that I drop games very fast if they don't hold my attention. I will get 10 minutes into a game, and if I'm bored with it, it's out the door. I am not even touching it anymore. And if I really like a game, I'll put 100 hours in easy and just constantly replay it because it's so addicting. So there's definitely been some like probably games that I can't enjoy specifically because they can't hold my attention long enough, even if they might be good later on. And then there's some games where the game itself isn't even that good. It's just able to hold my attention somehow, or like I'm able to focus on it and something else at the same time, so I can just sink right into it. For example, right before Elden Ring came out, I put 120 hours into Lost Ark, the weird Korean MMO that came out that was like totally pay to win, I think. And that game's not that great. Pretty good MMO. I literally would just put on podcasts and YouTube and music and play that game for like 10 hours a day. But for myself, that's sort of how it's affected the way I play games, at least. How often do you get into new games? My friend plays and finishes a new game every week, but I can only get into new games once every 2 months, even though we are as enthusiastic about video games. I do not get into new games that often. I think just as with everything, I sort of have urges to play video games. Like when I was playing Elden Ring, I'd immediately gone after playing Lost Ark, and I played some games before that. Like I had a binge of playing a lot of games, and then no games after that really interested me. I kind of got burnt out, so I didn't play a whole lot of them after that, or a whole lot of new games at least. So I would say like the once every 2 months is kind of accurate, but it's more like I'll play 5 games in a month and then not play any for 6, which again probably has to do with the whole ADHD thing. So it is just sort of like whatever games interest me, I'll start picking up and playing, but I'm definitely not someone who just picks up and plays like every new game that comes out and just pick up a new one every week. I do not know how people do that and don't get immediately burnt out, because I definitely do whenever I try that. Is it me, or are games nowadays just boring and not fun? Yeah, I think, again, to do with burnout, that is burnout to me. Especially when I have had like a full-time job, or I've been in school, or had something else keeping me really busy. I just cannot find any new games enjoyable, even like looking at a trailer. Like I'll just look at it and be like, I guess that's fine. And yeah, I think a lot of games have stopped being interesting to me that I probably would have loved in like high school, but that's only because I've already been through my high school phase of like playing 50 new games. And so now I've kind of slowed down my pace with that. I don't think the games industry has necessarily stopped making fun games. Like even this year and next year, I think there's a lot of really good games coming out, but I think it's just that we've stopped caring about the ones that are like 7 out of 10. Whereas in high school, literally every big game that came out, I was playing it, even if it wasn't that great. And now I've raised my standards, so fewer and fewer games are starting to meet it. What type of couch is that? It looks comfy as fuck. So this couch is not that comfy, I want to say. It's a Balcarp sleeper sofa from IKEA, and it's meant to be a futon so you can fold it out back and sleep on it. Don't do that though, because this couch is just the least comfortable thing. I can feel the wooden supports under my butt right now. Like it does not provide a lot of comfort. And then when you actually do like fold it out as a futon, the spine where it folds out is like an arch. So you just can't sleep on it at all. I bought it for like $200, I want to say, from IKEA. It's comfy enough for videos. Like I've been comfortable this entire time I'm recording, but to actually like sit back and watch a movie or something, I just cannot, which is why I've moved it to like my recording studio for, you know, recording videos and stuff like that. But I do not buy this couch. It's not that comfy. Actually, you know what? If I hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to buy a new couch. I'll do it then. And I'll have you guys help me pick out a couch or something. I'll do like a poll on Twitter or something, and you guys can pick out a new couch for me from IKEA or something. If we hit 100,000 subscribers, I'll get a new couch and fucking blow this thing up with dynamite because I hate it. Will you do a video on video game entrapment / sunken cost fallacy? Like how a good portion of the player base of a game like Destiny 2 despises it, yet keeps buying expansions or just still play the game at all. That is a very good idea for a video. I would love to make a video on sort of the toxic relationship a lot of people have with video games, especially games like League of Legends, and why they keep playing. I think the only difficult part of that is just that I don't play a lot of those games or have that relationship, so I might need to like speak with people about that, or do some research into like why people actually play games like League of Legends, even though they say they hate it. But that is a very good idea for a video. I thought the fan service video was really interesting. Will you ever make another video like that one about anime or etc.? And that question actually brings me to the final portion of this video, where I want to talk a little bit about the future of my channel. So to get it out of the way, yes, I will be making a sequel to my fan service video. I think at this point, it would be crazy not to. I mean, not only was it incredibly successful, but also there's a ton left to talk about in terms of fan service in other anime and the ways it's used, and a lot of topics that I kind of glossed over and didn't fully cover. I think I've sort of finished up or wrapped up for now my series on different video game genres. It might take a little bit for me to get sort of back into the swing of thinking about a new one to cover, just because I have covered all of the main ones that I've had ideas about. So I do want to swing into more anime related videos for now, since obviously people seem to like them. And I really want to get more into anime and anime culture and talk about those sorts of things. With the fan service sequel in particular, do not expect that video anytime soon, just because while I am compiling notes and research and starting the beginnings of making that video, the main thing was that a lot of people commented a lot of shows that included fan service, either in a good way or in a bad way, or just had a lot of it, that I would want to watch since I haven't seen a lot of them, in order to talk about them in the sequel video. So I'd have to watch a lot of anime, and also I think just because the topics that I'd want to talk about in that sequel are a little darker and are a little bit more on the serious side, I'd want to spend a lot more time thinking through my ideas of it before I make a video on it. So that video is way down the line. Do not expect that anytime soon, but I am working on it. Eventually it'll come out. For right now in my immediate future, I do want to focus on videos that are more specific, I think, than what I've been doing with gaming. So I wouldn't necessarily do an entire genre video, but maybe something covering a specific show or game down the line that I can sort of talk about in some broader discussion in some way. Think more along the lines of my, like, this isn't an anime video, for stuff that I'd want to do in the future. And speaking of the immediate future, the next video that I am working on right now that I want to get out as soon as I am able to is a cyberpunk video, specifically on Cyberpunk 2077 and the sort of disastrous launch that had, and all of the craziness that kind of went on behind the scenes that caused that game to be bad. And I want to talk about that and go really deep into that, and then also talk about the cyberpunk anime that basically revitalized the whole series, because that's insane to me. And I want to talk about why the game failed, but then is now doing good because of the anime. And that's sort of the next project that I'm working on. So that video should be out sometime soon, hopefully. I'm working on it. That one I actually have like a script started and I'm actually like focusing on for right now. But after that, I'll probably just do more like specific shows that I've seen, or like specific topics, maybe not as like big as fan service, but just other stuff that I've noticed and other stuff I want to talk about. And even to go along with that, if anyone has anything that you like, have a video idea that you want me to make, or just a specific show you want me to cover, or anything, you can always comment it or message me on Twitter, or just reach out to me in any way, telling me that idea, and I'll listen to it. I'll usually add it to my list of ideas that I have and think about that. Several of my videos before, I have specifically called out like one comment that inspired me to do the video. So I'm always looking for comments of people like suggesting new stuff. So if you have anything you want to talk about, really on anything that you want to comment, like a video idea or something, let me know and I will definitely look into it, and maybe make a good video on it. As for a more serious discussion, I do just want to say that the growth that my channel has experienced has been insane. I've talked about it before in this video. But yeah, I was going for like 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and that was a high goal for me. So to get 40,000 is more than I could ever ask for. And I just want to thank each and every one of you that subscribes, because I couldn't do it without you. Hello, Lextorias from the future here. Just wanted to talk to you real quick about something that happened recently since I recorded that original video that you just watched. So what happened is that my fan service video, after hitting 900,000 views and being at a trajectory to hit probably 1 million before this video would even come out, got demonetized. Which is shitty. Obviously that's a bad thing to happen in general, but the reason I'm talking to you right now is because it's a really weird circumstance around what happened that I'm really, really angry about right now. So basically what happened, and I've talked about this on Twitter and on the community posts that I've made in the meantime since the videos come out, but basically when I initially uploaded my fan service video, it got automatically hit with demonetization. YouTube's automated systems flagged it for something, they don't tell you what, and so the video wouldn't get any ads or be recommended in the algorithm when I had initially uploaded it, like before it even went public. And so I took down the video, censored a bunch of stuff, a bunch of nudity, you'll see pixelation even in the final video now, re-uploaded it, it got demonetized again, so I censored even more of the video, re-uploaded it, it got demonetized again, and at this point I was like, all right, this video is probably just gonna go up demonetized. So I submitted an appeal and then just let it go. I just decided whatever YouTube decided would happen would be how the video goes up. And the strange thing is that YouTube greenlit the video. Someone from YouTube manually looked at my fan service video before it ever went up while it was still unlisted and greenlit it for ads. They said, this video is safe for ads. You can upload it. No worries. You're all good to go. And I put the video up. It got 900,000 views over the course of a couple weeks, became my biggest video ever. And then just a couple days ago, it gets demonetized. And this is a problem for me because YouTube kills any and all momentum that the video would get. So any and all pushes to someone's feed or homepage or recommended immediately get cut. YouTube basically takes that video out of the algorithm entirely. And they don't really tell you that they do this, but it's very obvious that this happens. I mean, I can show you a graph of the video's trajectory where it just immediately gets killed the second that it gets demonetized, which is shitty because the video was at 900,000 views. It was going to get 1 million views, which I was really excited for. And then it just died. The video has got probably a couple thousand views since then, instead of what would probably be 100,000 views that it would get if it didn't get demonetized. And all of this is to say that I am very angry with YouTube for this decision. I don't agree with it at all because I uploaded the video saying, hey, I'm going to censor this if it gets demonetized. I did censor it. YouTube says, hey, this video is now good to go. We've had someone manually review the video. It's safe for ads. And then later on, they decide, oh, hey, that wasn't enough censorship. We're actually just going to pull the video from the algorithm and cut all of your revenue from it, which is incredibly shitty. It's incredibly inconsistent and makes me think that YouTube just doesn't even care about the video or my channel at all, because very obviously they've shown with this that they don't. And I even reached out to them with this on Twitter, which you could publicly see. It was a public exchange. They never DM'd me or anything. And basically what they had said for their final statement was, we reserve the right to change our minds at any given point and demonetize a video that was previously safe for ads. That's their official statement on it. Just, you can upload a video and we'll say it's okay. And then weeks later, we'll just kill the video and say, hey, actually, this video has sexual content or too much swearing. And you can just get completely killed by the algorithm from this. And I've seen this happen to other people too. This recently happened to Summoning Salt, who had one of their videos get flagged for, I think initially too much swearing in like 6 seconds. There was a 6-second clip of their video that got them demonetized for having too much swearing. And then later the video got flagged for sexual content, even though it was a Mega Man 2 speedrunning video, which is very obviously just YouTube saying like, fuck you. So yeah, this whole situation's been really upsetting and really shitty and has made me basically completely lose faith with YouTube, because I don't see how I could possibly have any faith that a video I'm going to put up is going to make money going forward, or even just not get killed by the algorithm going forward if YouTube can just change their mind at any point for any arbitrary reason. And while this is very disheartening, it is final. I've talked to YouTube about it. They made their decision very clear. And while it is sad that my fan service video probably won't hit 1 million views, at least for a very long time because of how little views it's getting now, I'll just have to make another video that does get 1 million views. If YouTube wants to kill that one, I'll just make another one that gets even bigger. But more specifically, what I wanted to talk about at the end of this video is that initially when I had first recorded this whole Q&A, at the end, I was going to push everyone to my YouTube channel memberships, because that's where I've been kind of pushing everyone as like a way to directly support the channel. But after all of this, I don't really have any faith in YouTube anymore and don't really want to keep all of my revenue on YouTube. So if you've been following me on Twitter or you've seen my community tab at all in the last like week or so, you'll know that I have opened a Patreon. This Patreon will get you all of the same benefits as my channel memberships. If you've seen any of my previous videos where I talk about what benefits those are, it's all of the same stuff, plus even more. The Patreon starts at just $1 a month and is pay whatever you want. So you can get every single benefit for $1, or you can go as high as you want. If you want to pledge $5 or $10 or $37.75, you can just pledge whatever you think the content that it provides is worth. So the benefits include the same as my YouTube channel membership, an editing timeline post for every video where I just discuss how I made the video, came up with the idea, wrote the script, edited it, and I talk about everything that sort of went into that video and all of the ideas that I had. And something specific to Patreon that I wouldn't be able to provide with a YouTube channel membership is that if in the future one of my videos has adult content or something that I would have to edit for YouTube, like say too much copyrighted material or something I have to censor because it's adult, I will be putting up the full, unedited, uncensored, extended edition of that video on my Patreon. You'll be able to see the entire unedited thing for just $1. And of course, pledging to my Patreon gets your name in the credits of all of my videos like these cool people. Now, I should say with the YouTube memberships going forward, I have cut out all of the tiers except for the $1 tier. So if you want to join my membership on YouTube, you can only join for $1. There's no $5 or $10 tiers anymore, and anyone who previously supported me with the $5 or $10 tiers has gotten a full refund, and you can use that money to join my Patreon or not even support me at all if you don't feel like it. And with the $1 tier, you will still get editing timeline posts that I'll put and behind the scenes that I'll put, just the same as on Patreon, and you'll get your name in the credits of my videos. So if you still do want to support the channel through YouTube's channel membership, you can absolutely still do that. It's $1. However, if you want to support the channel for more than $1 a month, Patreon just makes way more sense. Not only does Patreon take a much smaller cut than YouTube does, but also it's a way to support me that is off of the one platform that has previously told me that they could cut my revenue at any point in time. So if you currently are a YouTube channel member, I would highly recommend switching over to the Patreon, just because you'll get more benefits from it, like those uncensored, uncut videos, and it's just what I'm going to be promoting at the end of my videos going forward. I think it's a good way to diversify, and I think it's a good way to grow my channel going forward with a little bit more security that even if YouTube decides to just cut all of my revenue, I still have at least some backup from people like you directly supporting me. And as always, I have this written down like 3 different times on my Patreon, but do not feel obligated to give me a penny if you don't want to, or if you have literally anything else that you could spend that money on. Because again, all of the benefits, even on Patreon, are bonuses. They're extras that I just wouldn't be able to provide without it. I am always going to be uploading on YouTube for free. You can always just support me by watching my videos, and that is more than enough. Just watching, leaving a comment, or liking the video is more than I expect anyone to do. All of my content will remain free and available to everyone, always and forever. You have my word on that. However, if you do feel like you would like to support my channel, and if you do feel like my content has been worth it, then absolutely feel free to head over to the Patreon and pledge whatever you think it's worth. I'll leave a link in the description as well as the pinned comment where you can go join that, and you can go join these cool people who already joined my Patreon before I even announced it in a video. Thank you so much. And yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about. That's the end of this whole Q&A. I hope you liked it. I hope it wasn't too boring for a 90-minute video where I just answer questions. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Love you all. Hope you're doing well, and I'll see you next time. All right, that's it.